Guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel Read with Kim. And it's so hot here, like you have no idea how hot we are here in California, that I'm dying. So please keep yourself hydrated with water, tea, whatever, but it's crazy. Anyway, today we are going to talk about a book that is really new. It's a new release, it's really trendy, and I am talking about All the Colors of the Dark from Chris Whitaker. This is what is going to happen in this video. The first part of the video, I'm gonna tell you non-spoiler, kind of like synopsis about this book. The second part of the video, I'm gonna spoiler and I'm going to warn you, and we're gonna discuss what happened, and then I'm gonna share with you if I like it or if I don't like it. And at the very end of the video, I'm gonna give my rating, like 1 to 5 stars. So let's get into this week's video. So we are following Joseph, and Joseph is a boy who he doesn't have one eye. So he has a patch, like a pirate, and everybody calls him Patch. And this book I kind of say it's kind of like a memoir. So everything starts there, and Patch has a best friend, and her name is Saint. So Saint and him are super besties, and I feel like Saint is kind of in love with him. You know, this childhood first love. But Patch is really in love with another girl called Misty. And Misty is this kind of girl, she's super popular, blonde, this super wild. Everybody wants her, and of course he wants her too. And one day Patch was walking through the forest, in the woods, and then he sees Misty, and she was about to get raped from this man. So he goes and he literally saved her. And this guy took Patch and grabbed him to somewhere, and thanks to that, Misty was saved. And Misty was like, oh my god, I just owe you my life. So Patch got raped by this guy and kidnapped by this guy, and he took Patch to this house where he met the other person who is being trapped by this man, and her name is Grace. So Grace and Patch became friends and became this relationship where they both want to escape, but they cannot because this man have them trapped in this house, and this man is really violent. So Grace started sharing with Patch about her life, and I feel during this conversation we start feeling she's crazy because she's talking about weird things, but it feels like it's because she's trying to think about another life in order to keep her alive there, because she's living in a complete dark for many years at this point when Patch arrives. So she's just we're not gonna escape, but let's be friends, and they have this connection. And one day Patch gets really sick, and Grace grabbed him somehow and have him outside the house where the police found him. Grace that she is still with this man, and he really wants to save her. And that's how the story kind of opened, and how he is trying to find her. And at some point we're is this Grace really exist, or is just part of his imagination? So it's a psychological thriller, and it's a very fast pace, even though it is a 592 pages. I read this book in about 4 days or 3 days and a half, because it's really fast paced. And yes, you're what the hell, because every chapter is something new. And something I really like and appreciate, the chapters are so small. It's literally one chapter, and you can see it's 1 page. So when the chapters are short, is going fast. Now, I'm going to spoil this book at this moment, so if you haven't read it, please, disconnect this video, stop watching it, and then you can come back when you finish, or you can watch this video and we can discuss about that, because I'm about to spoil. Okay, so more than half of the book, I was kind of all the book, I was thinking, is this Grace real or not? Because everything that happens here is the life of Patch, Saint, and Misty. And he, marries Misty. They have this kid, Charlotte. Saint became a police, and then Patch became this like thrift guy who robs banks to support people who are looking for their daughters, their whatever they're missing. So he's a good action, but still he's like a robber, right? So Saint has to pursue him and chase him to grab him to the jail before someone else can kill him. And so in that moment, Saint became like married this man, and he's so violent with her, and we follow in their lives. And I really like it. I think it was like a really good story of 3 point of views. We feel like how Misty was dead, like the pain. I really like this book. I really do. The only thing about this situation is I'm very like categorize the books, right? So when we have a horror book, or the horror book has a specific elements and it's a horror book. So it's really where when you have a love story in the horror books, which is like happens, but it still keeps the majority of horror because that's why you read in a horror. When I read thrillers, I like to keep the thriller on me, like these elements about suspense and about these dark secrets. And I feel here was about turning super in love, super romance, kind of like sad about like this woman died, like Misty, and then Patch being a hero, and that he became a trauma because he saved Misty, but he is so obsessed to find Grace, which is fine. And it became a traumatic event for him. So he grew, and we follow his like life and how he found love and all his connections and love. But I was feeling like we were missing the thriller in some point. I was like, okay, where are the elements, the dark, like what is that, and I don't know. It's very hard for me to categorize this book because I don't think it's a romance, but I don't think it's 100% thriller. And I don't think it's like a memoir completely. It's hard to categorize this book. And just for that, because I was like, okay, I think I miss a little bit about the thriller here. I miss more darkness, like more really. However, I think it was great how we know all the characters, how the characters were built, how the relationship between them were built, even though Saint was so in love with him. You can see that it was her love. She was capable to understand that Patch was coming from a different situation and he was not in love with her, but he has very strong feelings for her as a friend. At the end of the book is that we don't know if Grace is real or not. So at the end of the book is like, okay, we know now that Grace is real, and then Saint found her and saves her, and that was great. That's great. And Patch see her and it's like, okay, she's real. But it was a really, really short situation at the end, which I would like maybe, I don't know. I would like to be a happy ending. I would have loved to see maybe more like suspense ending of this. Anyway, it's a good book. I recommend it. I give 4 stars, and it's a really fast pace. And it's really trendy now, and yes, 4 stars, which is still really high rated. In my video, and if you like it, please give me a like and share it with your friends so we can start growing more and more and more. And I'm gonna see you next week with a new bookish adventure.